After long, arduous work days, Jordan usually found solace in the repetitive tap-tap-tap of the rain drumming softly against the glass. Her workplace smelled of hazelnuts, and her coffee was still hot. It was meant to be a peaceful evening, a time to relax and feel proud of all that she had accomplished for herself. Her phone then buzzed. Take a brief look at the display. Chat in the family group. She unlocked her phone with a quiet smile, Jordan laughing quietly. Is there a message from Kevin? Let's see what's up. However, her smile vanished the moment her gaze fell upon the words. She felt her tummy tighten, her throat tightened with each breath. Text message, Kevin. The family ATM just sent another $3,000. Jordan gave a blink. The words were too quick for her brain to process, and she stammered. Then a second message appeared. Text message, Dad, LMAO. Keep that gravy train running. She's too stupid to realize we're using her. Her chest grew constricted. She was immobile. She was having trouble breathing. Her own dad. Even her own fucking dad. She quickly and urgently scrolled up, her fingers shaking, searching for context, for a way to justify this. Surely there must have been an explanation. Is it a joke? A miscommunication? However, it got worse the more she scrolled. Text message, Mom, just bought those golf clubs your father wanted. Jordan would flip if she knew her money paid for those, instead of medical bills. Her vision became hazy. They were exploiting her. All this time. Mom, her dad, her sibling. She had made sacrifices for them each month. She had been concerned about them each month. It was worth it, she had assured herself. That family looks out for one another. It is important that decent daughters enable their parents to live comfortably in retirement. Good sisters ensure their brothers don't face hardships. And all this time, they were making fun of her. There was a new text. Text message, quickly deleted after sending Kevin, oh shit, wrong chat. It's too late. It is far too late. Her ears throbbed with her heartbeat. She felt as though years of decay. It was suffocating her in her tight throat. $3,000 each month, for a period of 5 years. $180,000. Not to mention the other thousands she contributed for her brother's tuition fees, her mother's auto repairs, or her father's emergency dental surgery, all of which were phony and crap. She was ill. In order for them to be comfortable, she had foregone fancy purchases for herself, given up vacations, and led a simple life. And what were they doing? Play, golf, holidays, and new automobiles. At her cost. Like a cold, sharp razor, the treachery sliced deep into her. Then something changed within her. Her eyes did not well up with tears, because they were first consumed by anger. She gripped her phone more tightly. She tightened her jaw. The submissive, quiet, and always available daughter? She simply passed away. Jordan had trembling hands, not out of fear, not even out of rage, but rather from the weight of the betrayal itself, which was still pressing down on her like a lead weight. Over her mother's contact, her thumb lingered. It was her only opportunity to hear an explanation. There was a small, stupid part of her that still wanted to think there was one. That perhaps, just possibly, she was lacking something. That perhaps the monster depicted in the books wasn't indeed her own mother. She took a deep breath and pressed the call button. Once it rang. Then, Mom, quick answer, scathing. No greeting, don't you dare pretend you didn't know what you were doing. Jordan's back tensed. The outright foolishness. Jordan controlled. Cold, excuse me. Mom indignantly yelling, we're family. You can't just abandon us because your feelings got hurt. Her emotions. She, fucking, emotions. Jordan's hands clenched around the phone until her knuckles hurt. Jordan shaking with a restrained rage, voice low, my feelings got hurt. You've been lying to me. Laughing at me. Treating me like your goddamn ATM. Her mother's voice was filled with mocking astonishment, as she scoffed after a brief pause of only a fraction of a second. Mom dismissive, defensive, oh Jordan, you're taking this out of context. We were just joking. You know we appreciate everything you do. Jordan laughed bitterly and sharply. Denial was what she had anticipated. Excuses were to be expected. However, this, This was really worse. Jordan deadpan, icily joking. Really? Let's see how much we can squeeze out of her this time. That's a joke? A long, heavy quiet. Jordan could practically hear her mother's mind working. She knew that this time she wouldn't back down, that the game had begun. The tone of her mother's voice suddenly changed. The anger had subsided, the fury. She spoke softly now, injured. Mom manipulative, switching tactics, circling Jordan, sweetie. Listen, your father isn't feeling well. All this stress is causing his blood pressure to skyrocket. We need you right now. And there it was. The card of guilt. They'd been playing the same stupid card for years. Jordan shut her eyes. The whole system of manipulation that had been holding her in their grasp was now so evident to her. The ongoing financial crises, the subtle blackmail of emotions, the guilt trips about, we're family. Love was never the issue. It has to do with control. For years, she had been oblivious to it. However, it is no longer the case. She let out a deep exhale. She spoke in a composed tone, steady, unfazed. Jordan final, unmoving, firm. No, Mom, you don't need me. You need my money. I've had enough. A rhythm. She hung up after that. As simple as that. No second chances. Don't cry. I'm not sorry. She experienced an odd feeling of clarity as soon as the call ended, as if she had just emerged from a haze she was unaware she was in. She was free for the first time in years. Then, bang, bang, bang. The home echoed with a loud, frantic knock. Jordan felt his heart leap. She looked at the door as she turned. Her breath caught. She was still holding her phone. Less than 10 seconds had passed after the call ended. It could only be one individual. Kevin. Additionally, this time, he wasn't just using a text message to hide. The beating on the door continued. Jordan gazed at it, her breath escaping in controlled, thin gasps. The appearance of Kevin did not surprise her. He was deployed as the family's cleanup crew just a minute after their mother's phone call ended, sent to make things more amicable, sent for one final attempt to control her. Not this time, though. Pulling the door open, she unchained the latch and walked to it. Rain-soaked, Kevin stood with his hood down and a regretful expression on his face. Or perhaps it wasn't regret, she realized. Perhaps it was simply dread. Not worrying about losing her, but worries about his golden ticket being taken away. She remained still. She remained silent. They simply blocked the door by standing there with their arms crossed. Kevin, in a desperate, slightly trembling voice, Jordan, please. I can explain. Jordan is holding out her phone, her expression cold. Explain what? That you've all been laughing at me for years? Kevin's expression dimmed. She had seen everything, he knew. He was aware that there was no escape. Kevin, hands shaking slightly, voice cracking. I didn't mean it like that. Mom and Dad started it, and I just went along with it. I didn't want to be the bad guy. Jordan laughing sharply and bitterly, and raising an eyebrow. Oh, so you were just following orders? Like some kind of financial Nazi? Kevin flinches. Kevin averts his gaze, a hint of humiliation on his face, but not a significant one. Jordan takes a little step forward and speaks in a harsh voice that breaks through the rain. Jordan calculated. Still, do you even know how much I've given you all? I have given you all $3,000 a month. That's $36,000 a year. This is for a period of 5 years. Do the math, Kevin. Kevin swallows forcefully and moves uneasily, avoiding her eyes. Kevin speaking down, muttering, I know it's a lot. Jordan cutting him off. Cold $180,000. Kevin. And that doesn't even include the emergencies, the extra thousands for Dad's medical bills that never existed. The furnace, Mom said, broke last winter. That vacation I skipped so I could help you guys. All of it lies. Kevin flinches. He appears to want to say something, but he knows she's correct. Jordan also comes to a realization for the first time. She's not speaking to a sibling. She is conversing with a parasite. A grown man who, so long as he gained something from it, didn't mind seeing his sister taken advantage of. Now she can see it so plainly. It also makes her ill. Kevin desperate now, pleading okay, we messed up. But Jordan, they really need you now. They can't afford their mortgage without you. Jordan blinked. Then she bursts into laughter. It is not a joyful chuckle. It is skeptical, spiteful, and hollow. Jordan's tone was piercing, causing her to shake her head. Oh, you mean the mortgage on their lakefront condo? The one they bought while telling me they were struggling to pay rent? Kevin's silence speaks for itself. Jordan steps back slowly and lets out a breath through her nose. Then her face becomes stern. Her tone is decisive, unfazed, immobile, firm, unwavering. Jordan, get out, Kevin. I'm done. Kevin looks at her as if he wants to argue, to push for more time, more opportunities, more money. Jordan, meanwhile, isn't providing any. No more. She takes a step back. He feels the door slam in his face. The rain continues to fall outside. Kevin stays for a while, but after a while, he turns and leaves. Jordan leans against the door inside. She still has trembling hands. Her heart continues to race. However, this time, it's not out of rage or anxiety or suffering. It's out of relief. In years, for the first time, she's not bound. The air was still in the morning. Jordan didn't check her phone for a message from them when she woke up, something she hadn't done in years. Don't make up crises. No requests for guilt tripping. No fake medical bills. Nothing but quiet. With her laptop open, she sat at her desk and gazed at the screen. The close account button's cursor flickered. She believed she was safeguarding their future by building an investing fund for them, a covert account into which she had deposited money each month. The future of her father, comfort from her mother. It was meant to be a present. I'm grateful that you reared her. Now, however, it was merely a monument to her own folly. Her breath was deliberate and slow as she extended her fingers over the mousepad. Jordan talking to herself, panting heavily, and having a finality in her voice no more. Click. The account had vanished. With a piercing exhale, she released the weight of 5 years from her chest. However, there was still more to accomplish. Reaching for her phone, she called Megan. The only person in her life who had been warning her for years that this was financial abuse was Megan, her lawyer and best friend. It was hardly 2 rings before someone answered the phone. Megan, who was first confused and then outraged Jordan. What's up? You never call this early. Wait, what's wrong? Jordan calmly, quietly, but steadily. You were right. Silence for a beat. Then, sharp, alert, concerned Megan. What happened? Exhales, steadying self, then flatly Jordan, they've been using me, mocking me. I found the texts, 5 years of them laughing about how easy it was to manipulate me. Quiet. Then, Megan, her voice is louder now, furiously. They did what? Jordan massaged her temples as fatigue began to set in. Jordan, bitterly amused and exhausted, yeah. They called me the family ATM, joked about how I was too stupid to notice. Megan accurately, no speech a la Jordan, listen to me. You need to untangle everything, your accounts, your insurance, your legal ties. Do not give them another dime. Jordan gave herself a nod, despite Megan's inability to see her. She was already in motion. She dismantled all the financial ties that bound her to them over the course of the following few days. She began by suspending the monthly payments from their bank account. Second, she stopped receiving free medical coverage after removing them from her health insurance policy. Third, she changed the beneficiary of her life insurance policy to a non-profit that helps abused children. She had her money back at last. Additionally, for the first time in a long, she felt no remorse for it. Weeks went by. Silence for weeks. Peaceful weeks. There were weeks when Jordan awoke free of fear, and the oppressive burden of yet another made-up financial catastrophe. She lived for herself, not for them, for weeks. Then, bang, bang, bang. The silence was broken by the beating on the door. Jordan froze for a brief moment. However, she was aware. Before she even peered through the peephole, she knew. Before the faint voices on the other side ever reached her ears, they were the ones. her parents, Kevin too. She took a long breath and let it out. This time, her hands did not tremble. Her heart wasn't pounding. She was ready. Pulling the door open, she unlocked it. On the porch were three individuals. Her mother, her eyes red and wet. Her father clenched his fists and tightened his mouth. Standing just behind them, Kevin's face was unreadable. They didn't look as put together as they used to. They lacked confidence in their posture. They appeared smaller, weaker, in a desperate situation. Jordan took a step forward with his arms folded and a neutral expression. She waited. She gave him the opportunity to speak first. Desperate, teary-eyed, trembling voice. "Mom, we're sorry, Jordan. We never meant to hurt you." Jordan's mouth quirked, not with laughter, not out of compassion, incredulous. She looked at her mother's face as she cocked her head slightly. The same woman who had spent 5 years laughing behind her back, the same one who had made fun of her magnanimity. She was referred to as a sucker by the same woman. Jordan exhaled quietly and slowly. Then, Dad aggressive, protective, and moving forward. "You can't abandon family like this." Oh, it was there. The righteous outrage, the boldness, the trip of guilt. Jordan's eyes became stony. This was the exact screenplay she had anticipated. She heard her mother's desperate cries, her dad's angry entitlement. Kevin stood clumsily and remained silent. She had finished everything. She spoke in a composed tone, steadfast. Jordan even toned, "Unmoved, Stouty, you abandoned me first." Her father's expression wavered. Jordan stepped forward and looked straight ahead. Jordan, deadly quiet, continued, "You didn't see me as family. You saw me as a bank." "What is the status of that bank?" "It's closed." A quick breath was drawn by her mother. Her dad's jaw tightened. Kevin drooped his shoulders. Jordan examined each one slowly and intently. Her relatives, or, at least, the former individuals. She struggled to find the right words. Click! She closed the door. Firm, final, unfazed. Additionally, she had never in her life. She was really, really free.